Welcome to the Real CP Show. I am your host, CP. And today's topic, which today's date is July the 20th, 2026. And today's topic is this particular heartless Anglo English woman frauds or defrauds this Anglo English woman elder pensioner from a district area of England. This is a type of English Anglo woman upon English Anglo woman elder criminality. Shh. Yes, when I read this story, I was like this. See the thing about it is, for so long, within sectionality of America, that there are numbers of males, with few exceptions, that have put numbers of women on pedestals. And then numbers of those same women have sit there and put numbers of males at the bottom of the pedestals. Do you understand? With few exceptions. And then you got numbers of males that don't use certain types of mentality that this almighty force has given the brain to use, with few exceptions, to say, wait a minute now, there's no such thing as pan womanism. Do you understand? Do you understand? There's no woman unification. Look at the racial categories. Do you understand? And relating to this topic, relating to over in Harvard sectional of England, Harvard personnel have to deal with feminism in Harvard section over there in various places. And it spreads in different other areas. Do you understand? And so you have people that have been putting numbers of women on pedestals, right? And saying, oh my goodness, look at them as goddesses. When again, numbers of women who know, numbers of some good women, they like, no, there is no pan womanism out there. A lot of times it's cat upon cat sitting there, survivability between many types of women. See, they don't like numbers of males to know that tactic, right? Now, you look at this particular cretin in his picture. They about look the same on this other image, right? Look at that. The evilness, the godness in their eyes. Look at the evilness in those eyes. It's almost pretty much the same on that situation. And this system has told so many numbers of women, just do this. And you'll have numbers of males going all over trains, flying on top of airplanes to get to whatever they heard a woman's doing this. And how many males have lost their lives in doing that? You understand? Without looking at the context first. Now, let me go ahead and share my screen on this part. All right, let me look at this one first, right quick. Make sure you can see this. Fraudster who fled UK for Spain to be extradited. Look at that. Look at that carnaconous look. Look at that. Does she look like that she's about womenism? I don't think so. Look what she did to the elder pension English woman. All right. So let's get to that. A fraudster who conned nearly 300,000 pounds out of a vulnerable pensioner is to be extradited from Spain to face justice. Pamela Gwinnett, 63, fled to Tenerife while on bail as she awaited trial, following an investigation into her dealings with 89-year-old Joanne Green from Chorley, Lancashire. Last October, she was convicted and sentenced in her absence to 6 years in jail for theft and fraud by abuse of position. Such and such entity plundered, relayed over that Gwinnett plundered the life savings of the retired accountant. Retired accountant. When she became her carer, as she controlled her finances and isolated her from her family. Such and such entity relayed that Gwinnett had been arrested and would be returned to the UK following assistance from such and such entity. And this other entity relayed, we hope that the return of Pamela to the UK to serve her sentence gives Joanne's family a sense of justice as they look to move on with their lives. I can't stand when people make just generic Consakanakas. You don't get over things like this. You try to manage the turmoil and trauma that happened. You just don't get over and say, well, we're going to move on. That's not the way it goes in our mentalities. Can't stand when people, they figure out illogical ways to try to cope on these things. Again, cash cow. Early this year, such and such confronted Gwinnett outside her seaside apartment on the island. They talking about the Canary Islands. Tenerife is one of those main islands, among the main places in those Canary Islands, outside of basically western part of almost like a northwestern part off the coast of Africa. She denied stealing from the pensioner who died in November 2022 and told them, I don't need to answer these questions. Did I heck take the money? I'm just reading what it says. She said, did I heck take the money? Gwinnett flew to Tenerife in April 2025, just hours after a court application to vary her bail conditions to allow her to purportedly scatter her brother's ashes on the island was refused. Such entity sentenced her as if she was present in the courtroom last year. Abstinia. He said to you, Joanne Green was simply a cash cow to be milked until she was dry. And so, having unveiled your way into the lies behind the charade that you were a benevolent friend to Joanne, you set about playing the long game to isolate and control a vulnerable woman and thereby enrich yourselves. There was, in my judgment, a self-assured shamelessness to your fraudulent activity. To use the colloquialism, you have some brass neck, Miss Gwinnett. As part of her scam, Gwinnett made a series of false claims against Green's stepdaughter and step-grandchild, including theft and neglect before she gained power of attorney. Isn't that something? She sat there and insinuated against the stepdaughter and step-grandchild about the false claims that what she was doing, right, to Joanne, but in essence, it was Gwinnett doing that kind of things. That's a messed up term. That's a messed up mentality. It's a messed up mentality type person. And there are quite a number of people that have this mentality. Gwinnett used Green's cash to fund an extravagant lifestyle as she bought a car worth £22,500 and enjoyed expensive beauty and Botox treatments. Such and such entity added, I sincerely hope that Mrs. Gwinnett is extradited back to the UK to serve this sentence for this egregious offenses. It is an affront to justice and the rule of law for this defendant to be allowed to remain in Tenerife. Again, does that look like someone that has benevolentness in her aura? I don't think so. It looks like she would stab you 10 times and tell you what you're talking about. Do you understand? So unfortunately, there are certain types of women that don't get it through certain types of their skulls, that there is no pan-womanism. Now, to credit to the ones who know, but there are some ones that are still naive, that don't understand that. And some of these numbers of women are getting used by other numbers of women. So the thing about it is a sad situation what happened to that particular Joanne, and may her soul rest. Now, again, you seen how the look of this and the look of her, they about the same people. But again, in this society, within Americas and various other places and countries, it's spreading toxic feminism. It's spreading. Do you understand? Because they also know they have to just do this. And again, numbers of men, the ones applies to, would run as fast as possible, putting their lives on the line, losing their lives on the line for even people that look like this. And behind those eyes is someone that looks like this. And I'm like this. Mm, mm, mm. Let me share my screen one last time, show you something else real fast. This is another article, but I'm not going to read it. There's a couple of quick little things I want to show you. Shameless fraudster who stole 300,000 pounds from vulnerable pensioner, Anglo English woman pensioner, who was a accountant who had retired. Her life savings just basically squandered by this demon. Do you understand? Her demon actions. She didn't care about another woman. Who cares, right? She saw another woman that she can get over, and that's what she did. Shameless fraudster who stole 300,000 from vulnerable pensioner led away by enforcement. Pamela Gwinnett isolated Joan Green from her family while pretending to act as her carer during C-19. She gained control over her finances and raided her life savings. The article you see right here, Friday, July the 17th, 2026. An article. This is when she got arrested. Thank goodness on this situation that this cretin was arrested. Again, thank goodness this cretin was arrested for that, for this atrociousness of criminality, what she did to the other English woman, pensioner, elder one. May she go to Hades for what she did. Another thing I want to sit there and show you is this right here. Right here. I'm utilizing this under timepiece purpose and what I call timepiece purpose, right? Time keeps what was going on at that particular moment, and also under the fair usage doctrine. Uh-oh, crap. Hold on for a second. Oh man, that's what I wanted. Give me a second. I know I just did something. God dang it. Something was, oh man, give me a second. Something was playing in the background. I didn't even sit there and God dang it, I did that again. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. Oh, no, something told me this. Hold on for a second. Sorry about that. Give me one moment, hero. Let me reshare my screen on this part. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Oh, I almost messed up on that one. Let me go ahead and redo this again. Oh, not that one. Sorry about that. Let me reshare this. Let me share my screen again. Give me one moment here. I just want to show this for 1 second here. Okay, make sure you can see this. Okay. All right. I'm utilizing this, and again, fair use doctrine and timepiece purpose.
Moment we confronted a convicted fraudster who's on the run in Tenerife.
You did take Joan's money, didn't you?
No, never.
Pamela Gwinnett was sentenced to 6 years in prison for conning a vulnerable pensioner out of hundreds of thousands of pounds. After befriending Joan Green in a supermarket, Gwinnett isolated Joan from her family. She convinced her to give her lasting power of attorney, then raided her life savings. She spent almost £300,000 of Joan's money on Botox, expensive meals, and a £22,500 car.
She just filled her mind with horrible thoughts that her family didn't care about her, didn't love her, and didn't want anything to do with her. When Pamela was there and the carers come to take over, she'd been left in her own feces in bed.
Stop holding her hand like that. Get off me.
In a row filmed by Joan's family, Gwinnett accuses them of neglecting her and stealing.
This has nothing to do with you. I'm power of attorney.
Joan died in 2022, aged 89, before Gwinnett was convicted. Sentencing Gwinnett for theft and fraud by abusive position last year, the judge said, "To you, Joan Green was simply a cash cow to be milked until she was dry." 5 hours after being told to hand in her passport to police, Gwinnett skipped bail and flew to Tenerife. She's been there for almost a year. This is where Gwinnett has been hiding in Tenerife. The residents here are so furious that they are living with a wanted woman. They've been putting up posters like these. That's Joan with her grandson. And Pamela lives literally just around the corner there. So she has to walk past this poster every day. She's become notorious among her neighbours.
Well, as we would say, she's got more neck than a giraffe.
What is your message to her? Is it to leave?
Go home and face justice.
We spotted Gwinnett leaving another resident's apartment, an elderly man who lives alone.
Who said
You're
that?
supposed to be serving a prison sentence. You got 6 years last year and you're here in Tenerife. Why are you back in the UK?
Because I've got an appeal going on.
So you're appealing it, so the judge was wrong. You should have got 6 years.
No.
Why is that? You did
Because
take Joan's money, didn't you?
No, never. A family took it.
You see how you see how she just outright lied when I showed you earlier that she's convicted of doing that, and she ran off to Tenerife and stuff like that. See, this is the kind of stuff that you have to watch out for other families and things like that, because there are some bad people out here who do this every day, who fraud mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, uncles, sisters. You get the point. So many times this happens every day on that. And you see how this particular chronoconus of an inhuman type of woman, this frauder, what she did and how she talks, she can look like some other grandmother, somebody's grandmother, right? Stuff like that. Behind her eyes is evil on that.
I'm her executor.
You're going to go back and hand yourself in, Pamela?
No, because
If you've done nothing wrong, why are you here?
because my appeal's going through.
What we don't know is when Pamela will leave Tenerife, but what we do know so far is that if she's free to walk the streets here, then she's free to do it again.
She's evil. She's evil, but she's very, very clever at. She's evil, but she's very, very clever at what she does. Evil. She's evil, but she's very, very clever at.
Then she's free to do it again.
She's evil. She's evil, but she's very, very clever at what she does. She knows how to play the system. This isn't her first time of doing it. Play the system. This isn't her first time of doing it. She's evil, but she's very, very clever at what she does. She knows how to play the system. This isn't her first time of doing it.
Her executor.
Look at that face. That's the face of evil. But at the same time, you may not see that. And this is how some of these type of women, the ones who do this to other women, because this is, unfortunately, this is a type of English woman, upon English woman criminality, unfortunately, and made Joan, that retired accountant, may her soul rest and things like this, and may this cronicaness may she go to Hades for what she did to that particular pensioner Anglo elder woman, that this cronicaness was supposed to be her carer, and she basically pushed her away from her other family. And again, you look at those two images, they look the same almost. Look at that image. Look at the image. See that cronicaness? Same type personnel. But you have some people that'll do just like this. Oh my goodness, especially within various sections of America, that is the headquarters in various sections of feminism. And there are certain types of women, the ones applies to, they don't even know they get used by other women. And there are numbers of good women who know there are, and credit given to those. Those are dwindling. And the system is sitting there and infecting the system, various parts of America, with feminism on this situation. Now, unfortunately, it's spreading to other different places on this planet. But I make this point. There's still something commonality within the playbook on the first page. They give to various types of feminist women. They say, hey, I want you to repeat after this. Never, ever say that you're wrong. We will never say that we're wrong. Repeat after me. We will never admit to any male that we are wrong, Do you understand? That's what they do all the time. Do you understand? And they'll sit there and do this to numbers of men who don't sit there and know the game. Yes, because they'll sit there and play this tactic. Oh my goodness, they hate women. Toxic masculinity, misogyny. Do you understand? Misogyny. What are you talking about? Misogyny, toxic masculinity. You be like, what are you talking about? All men ain't like that. You don't care about that. That's like a toxic masculinity guy. You're mansplaining. And I'm like this. When they start talking about, well, it's not all women. You like what again when they try to play that tactic? Because they know it's not enough males that see through the game, right? Oh my goodness. You don't like women. Oh my goodness. Toxic masculinity. And you don't like women. I'm like this. Because when they say this, it's not all women. I'm not playing that tactic. I'm not doing it. And you look at this knockiness, right? Of a buck knockiness, feces, and what she did to that elder retired accountant over there in England was Heartless. Again, they look about the same. See that? Look about the same. And I'm looking like this. And I say it's in closing. For however personnel it's not even about right now, it can be down the road, 4 or 5 years down the road, 4 or 5 months down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. I hope some other people listen to it. If nothing else, I relay this over to make sure to check your finances and get things in order as much as possible. Because unfortunately, too many times people just be like, don't even pay attention to it. 20s and the 30s, even the 40s. Oh, they got some time. And unfortunately, some situations happen, out of control situations, health, anything, car crashes, anything. And also, how many times we've heard GoFundMe. And I'm like, GoFundMe. It's almost like drinking water. And I'm like this. What if GoFundMe wasn't around? Then what people do? A lot of people, they'd be up what they call Shhh Creek on that. GoFundMe has his scenarios, but too many times people just depend on GoFundMe. In this situation right here, you got to sit there and try to plan as much as possible, because there are some knockers, deceiving people among various sections of society. They will lie, they will steal, they will do anything to get power turned for however personnel. They will lie and deceit to get on people's bank accounts and anything. And you have to be aware that these things can happen, and they do happen. I thank you for tuning in. to the Real CP Show.